Welcome back. It is 4:06. David Heurtel is standing by, former Quebec Liberal cabinet minister, now political analyst. David, you know what? I'm guessing, maybe you could tell me you know her, you've worked with her. Marwa Risky is sitting back on a day like today, smiling or what, based on what happened with the M&A in Chamonix?
Well, there's definitely a sense of, I would say, partial vindication. As her attorneys wrote in her court filings in the lawsuit that was filed by Geneviève Ains, Pablo Rodriguez's former cabinet chief of staff, the court filings from Mara Risky mention the fact that there were part of the reason why she fired Geneviève Ains is because of her apparent lack of reaction to these allegations that something was going wrong, the famous fling-flangs that was going on, and amongst other things, what was going on in Chamonix with Sonia Lakhoyan. So definitely there's something there for sure. And today, a lot of, in the French media, a lot of people are saying, the big front page of the Journal de Montréal, almost full front page of the Journal de Montréal this morning was Risky was right. And so is that still enough? There's a lot of other things that have yet to be investigated, a lot of things that are still unknown, everything that transpired in this whole affair. But definitely today is definitely the type of day that's for Mara Risky that says, well, see, there was some fire to go along with the smoke.
So the follow-up question, I guess, is, so what does this mean for Charles Milliard? Is it now incumbent upon him, David, to go to her and say, you know what, we now know what was going on. We know who the person involved was. You were right. Please come back to the party. Or what happens next?
Well, I mean, he is in a tough spot. The thing is, though, there are still two other investigations ongoing, the UPAC investigation and the Elections Quebec investigation. Let's remember, this whole entire situation, yes, there is the Lakhoyan affair, but there were other components to it. Now, we know from a lot of reporting and a lot of people are in and around the Liberal caucus that a lot of people don't want to see Mara Risky come back to the caucus, not just because of this situation, but because, she wasn't perceived as being a team player. And also, let's remember this, Aaron, there's the way she proceeded. Was there another way? And we've discussed this many times. Even if you see a problem like Sonia Lakhoyan, and you may not have all the pieces, but you have enough to make a serious allegation, was the way she proceeded by the way she went by it, was this the best way? And I think a lot of people in and around the Liberal caucus have a lot of problems with the way she acted back in mid-November, just starting out of nowhere with firing. Remember, this all started with the firing of Geneviève Ains.
Yeah.
This didn't start with Sonia Lakhoyan. And so there's still a lot there. For Charles Milliard, if you bring her back, there's still the lawsuit going on. There's still a lot of reticence within the party, and it keeps the thing alive. Because and I think right now Charles Milliard, by actually ripping up Sonia Lakhoyan's Liberal membership card today, after yesterday announcing, she would never come back to caucus and she would not be representing the Liberals in Chamonix in the next election, he took yet another step. I don't think for Charles Milliard, the best thing is to bring back right away Mara Risky, because then for the next 4 weeks, that becomes
the
even
focus,
more
right.
of the story.
Sure.
And I think for Charles Milliard, especially with his problems with this week, yet again, before all this, remember, he was still not having a good week with the French language and him going in the National Assembly talking about the fact that there were two official languages in Quebec. The fact is that for him, he needs to get back on message. And I don't think getting back on message, talking about priorities of Quebecers and his priorities and his leadership is bringing back Mara Risky, who regardless of her role in this, she is now, her brand is being identified with a negative perception, a negative brand image of the Liberal Party, the Rodriguez leadership. And remember, she's not even running again. So there's a lot there to consider before bringing her back.
All right, let me talk about another story that I was not all much aware of at all here. Louise Blais, appointed last month as Quebec's envoy for the CUSMA review. So this is Quebec's envoy, now says Canada needs to push back sooner, or I guess more hard. I don't even know how you describe it, but I thought the whole thing now was it's not up to us, it's up to the U.S. I thought they didn't want to talk trade about CUSMA.
Right, but let's remember here, who appointed Louise Blais? Christine Fréchette. Christine Fréchette is in a bit of a hurry, Aaron, as you know.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Christine Fréchette has 4 weeks left in the National Assembly and is going into pre-campaign mode for the October election. You have to understand here that is obviously coming directly from the Premier's office. She is Christine Fréchette, as we saw, she's been she met with Mark Carney. She made a big announcement, the big Air Asia deal with the Airbus purchase earlier this week. She's sending messages of collaboration, but it's an attempt, through her envoy to send a message. Guys in Ottawa, could you try to step it up? I need some good news soon.
Okay. As if. Okay.
No, but Mark Carney is obviously in a different timeline, and part of the calculation, you may think you're right in saying, first of all, when two people are negotiating, you can only control what you're doing. And so you can't control, especially the Trump administration, but also for Canada, for Mark Carney, he's been working very meticulously to show that he is getting results with Europe, with Asia, with other partners. And that's part of his strategy towards the U.S. And also the time factor. Yes, it may seem slow when you're in a business here in Quebec and you're struggling because of tariffs. But the other thing is, let's remember the midterms. The midterms are, if they keep going the way it seems to be going, so if the Republicans lose at least control of the House, but now even losing control of the Senate is also a possibility, well, that also would change drastically the balance of power between the two nations. So there's a lot going on there, but I think it's just a political messaging campaign that comes from Christine Fréchette saying, I'm getting a lot of pressure. I want to see change. And she's sending a message through one of her emissaries.
David, can I ask a dumb question? Why does Quebec need a special envoy to the Canada-U.S. MCA agreement? It's
not a dumb question. It's something that has gone on for basically ever in trade negotiations. Quebec is a distinct society, and we've always done this because every party that has governed, so the Liberals, the CQ, and of course the PQ, there's a doctrine called la doctrine Gérin-Lajoie that says, well, in our constitutional powers, we are sovereign in the powers that we have. So in terms of trade, while negotiating, trade is obviously a federal competent jurisdiction. The fact is that for softwood lumber negotiations for the past 30, 40 years, Quebec has always sent a negotiator to be part of the team, and in other types of trade, because Quebec's position on this is that while, yes, it may be Canada's jurisdiction, of course, to negotiate trade deals for Canada, in our own jurisdiction, we should have someone at the table to protect Quebec's interests.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. I will move on and just ask one thing. It's not on my list, but I wondered if you'd been paying attention to this. This is kind of like breaking news this morning. I saw Pete Hoekstra, who's the U.S., of course, I guess, ambassador to Canada, who's not made a lot of friends in the time that he's been here, apparently canceled some kind of a speech he was going to make. He was called back to Washington. Any idea what this is about?
No, I don't. It's very hard to to see what's going on there. So no, I have no information on why that happened. I don't know.
And to my point, by the way, he's not done a whole lot of good here, right? As the new ambassador, has he? He's managed
no. Obviously, well, I mean, when the Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick goes on the offensive and says we're losers here in Canada. It's pretty hard after that to be an ambassador in Canada for the U.S. And of course represent Donald Trump. But I mean, there's so many moving parts right now in the Trump administration. No rhyme or reason to it.
Okay.
It's very hard without hard information to even speculate on why that happened.
Okay. We're out of time. I was going to get to the launch of the Digital Health Record Network today. We found out it's, it's beyond what it's going to cost. And I don't know if we'll ever know that.
1.5, but 1.5 billion over 15 years could get to 5 billion. Every year we spend $65 billion on healthcare. But do you have the countdown clock for midnight? Already at CJAD?
No.
And are you going to host the special report at midnight?
The launching of the Digital Health Records?
Launching, or are you going to be on the air at midnight today?
Yeah, we're going to carry that live because I think most people are waiting for that. Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, there's the countdown clock. That's already begun. There you go. We're ready, David. We are ready.
Countdown clock for midnight.
Have a good weekend.
all over again.
I'll talk to you next week. Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Take care.
This May, iHeartRadio celebrates Asian Heritage Month. Discover powerful stories, vibrant cultures, and unforgettable music. From inspiring podcasts to playlists that span East, South, Southeast, and West Asian artists. We're honoring the voices shaping our world. Listen now on the free iHeartRadio app and at iHeartRadio.ca.